Okay, so hi, my name's Brad. I'm a front-end developer for a company in the city called Nomad, which is a small technical agency. We do websites and mobile phone apps and web apps and that sort of stuff. This is our stuff. I thought that would take longer, that's all. So I'm going to talk about responsive design, which is a method of building one website that displays differently and more effectively on many devices. Essentially, you have the one site and you only have to edit in one place, but you get more bang for the buck. The first question is, do you need to support mobile? And really the answer is yes. I was going to put 15 seconds worth of yeses on there. That's silly. Although, yeah. So this is why. Currently there's 2.3 billion internet users, and in the next 3 years there's going to be 2.1 billion mobile internet users. So if you're not catering to that market, you're probably missing out quite heavily. Yeah, so your options for supporting mobile are, you can have no mobile site, this is a fast one, and just let the phone handle it. You can have a redirect in place to a specific mobile site. You can have a responsive site, or perhaps you might need a mobile application. Each has its pros and cons. No mobile site at all is less work for everyone involved, less design work, but you probably get a much poorer experience for your users from there. A separate mobile site is probably less upfront work than a responsive site, but you've got two sites to manage. Now you can tie them together, but it's more complicated in terms of development to do this. And also it's quite a poor experience to be redirected from a site to a mobile site if you're on a slow connection. Responsive sites, in my opinion, are the best bet. You build once, you get a decent experience for all your users, although there's a lot more design consideration up front and therefore more cost. To build a responsive site, you have to move away from a traditional pixel-based layout, which is fixed width, to a percentage-based layout, which is called a fluid width layout. Next slide. Yeah, so if you had a 960 pixel, which is the standard layout, your sub content blocks would be arranged into percentages that look like that, which are quite complicated to work with sometimes. And then you move on to something called media queries, which are a feature of CSS, which allow you to conditionalize your CSS for things like print. And we are not really that interested in print, but we're probably more interested in screen, which lets us work by the width of the device or the orientation. So you can have a different layout on a tablet for portrait or landscape, which you can tailor that layout of the same site to that device. This is a site that we built recently, standard sort of 3-column site for a client, and they were really happy with it. And then I hadn't done anything for mobile, and the client said, "Oh, it doesn't look very good on my iPhone," which was like this. And you can see the navigation has gone a bit mental. The left-hand column is overlaying, and it was just quite a bad experience for the client. So we got stuck in and came up with something like this. So our client was a PR company, and they're much more about sort of traditional content methods. So we could prioritise that content. We could sort of tailor the navigation to look a bit more like buttons and be a bit more touchscreen friendly. And this is a bit further down the same site. So the content was reduced from 3 columns just to a single column, and all the content from the desktop version of the site is available on the mobile site, and they only have to update once. So it's really good for the client. The next step with responsive is something called mobile first, where instead of building, I'm not going to fit this in 15 seconds, but instead of building for the desktop and reducing for a mobile, you build for the mobile and add things in, and it generally will get a better experience for your mobile users. The worst bits are, oh god, so fast. Images are terrible. Like big images on a 3D connection are really bad. There are ways around it. Can't explain it in 15 seconds. You just can't. And the real problem, of course, now is high resolution but still small screen size devices like Retina display iPads and things like that, because they effectively ignore media queries, because their screen size is so large. That's it. I'm Brad. And if you have any questions.